I've been noticing on LinkedIn recently has been actually people that have been out of work for an extended period of time. And I start to look really closely at and seeing, okay, what could it be? What could be driving this? If you look at the economic data, really relatively low unemployment. Are companies hiring? I am noticing there's a lot of opportunities that are out there. One of the things, though, that I'm also noticing is that the approach that a lot of people seem to be taking these days may not be aligned with how people are getting hired. If we keep on doing the same things that we've always done and expect that things have not changed and haven't moved, then we're just expecting to be out a little bit longer than anticipated. And one of the things I think we need to realize is that we may need to change the paradigm that we are used to working in. Now, for a lot of people out there, getting a job was as easy as kind of throwing their resume out there, and what would end up happening is they would end up landing a job. For some people, they have not had to look for a job for a number of years, and they've been promoted up through the ranks in their current company only to find themselves left out. But the truth is, they're not looking for the same job that they did 5-10 years ago, because they have progressed in their career and they've moved up. So what's needing to happen is there needs to be some sort of a change to reflect that new position, that new level that you're at. But what ends up happening most times than not, we go and we fall back on the things that we knew worked for us before, not understanding that things have changed. So here's what I'm going to tell you. If you are somebody that has been kind of caught in a downturn and realizing that the competition might be greater than what it was maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago, you're going to have to go and do things maybe a little bit differently. And one of those things you might need to do is actually follow up. When I'm looking for a job and putting myself out there, going and putting my resume out there, that's hard already, because I'm putting my skills, my ability, all those things that I've done up for judgment. The hard part is this: making a phone call or reaching out via email to somebody I may not know and say, hey, I've just applied for this job. I'm just letting you know, here's a summary of what I do. Please let me know if you've got any questions, and then go from there. Unfortunately, a lot of times what ends up happening is we go and we hit the submit button because it's easy, and we continually hit the submit button. And hitting the submit button is fantastic if you don't want to work. Now, you may get lucky and somebody goes and sees your resume, but the truth is, what could really end up happening is this: you end up being one of 100 or 200 or 300 resumes. The recruiter who has your job opening is responsible for 50 of them, and all they want to do is get through it. So what they'll do is they'll look through the resumes that come up, and if your resume is not ranked in the top 20 or 30 resumes in their candidate tracking system, what ends up happening is this: once they get about 5 or 6 candidates that they think could fill this position, they stop looking. And it doesn't matter if you come in and you keep on submitting and doing these things, they've stopped looking for that position. They're hitting their second job that they have to fill. And they're doing the same thing, and they're looking through and they're saying, okay, I've got my 5 or 6 candidates for this. And then they move to job 3 and do that. And then they have to follow up with the managers to make sure that they're not asleep on the job here, and they're actually looking at the resumes that they're sending and understanding whether or not they want to bring these people in for interviews, or do they need to go back to the list of people they have and start changing things in the sense of the criteria. And I can't tell you how many times a recruiter has to go back and redefine or refine the job description. Because a lot of times what ends up happening is the manager may not know exactly what they're looking for. And if the job was held by somebody else and they have left to go elsewhere, oh my God, that opens up a whole new can of worms. Because not only are they looking for somebody or to replace somebody that is left, but they may not have the budget for that person, and they may actually need somebody that's of a lower level. But the only way you're going to find out whether or not you are capable of actually getting an interview for that job is by actually following up and following through with the recruiter or the hiring manager that is posting for that job. Right way to do it is, quite honestly, is to put your resume out there and apply through the proper channels. Get yourself into their candidate tracking system. The next thing is, if you've got a contact number, call up. And I know it's hard to do. It's hard to pick up the phone and talk to a complete stranger who has the ability to say, no, I don't think you're right for this, or may not even answer your call. And that's already you're looking for a job. It's already hard, and they just don't answer you. But the thing is this: if you do get a hold of somebody and you are having a discussion with somebody, what you may be able to do is actually short circuit the system. Because if you get somebody on the phone, they're going to have to inevitably look at your resume. But the people who are really good at their jobs and really good at finding people work will take the 5-10 minutes it takes to talk with you, look at your resume, give you your opportunity to pitch your skills and your abilities, and then say, yeah, no, I think you might be a good fit. Let me put you forward to the hiring manager. Or they could say, no, I really don't think you'd be a good fit, and here's why. Which then will give you an opportunity to clarify whether or not you could really do that work or have some experience that maybe not be on your resume directly, or that they've even told you is really important. So keep all those things in mind. The other way is, yes, you can send an email, but emails can be looked at later. I know when I was a recruiter, I get hundreds of emails and I might not look at them until the end of the day. I'd usually look in the morning when I first got there, at lunchtime, and then in the evening before I left. And the reason for it is, if I'm constantly responding to emails, I'm not finding people. I'm not doing my job. I'm just putting out fires. I guess the best way to put it is this: go out and do it like fishing. Put your line out, actively network on LinkedIn. This is a great platform, but a lot of times it gets used incorrectly. And what your goal should be when you're on LinkedIn is very simple. Are you ready for this? It's not to ask that person if they are going to hire you, or do you have a job for me? They may. And if they do, after you have a discussion about, hey, this is what I do, and this is how I've done it, and this is how I've been successful, and all these great things about how you've added value throughout your career, your ask really shouldn't be, do you have a job for me? Because that closes them off. What your ask should be is this: hey, I'm actively looking for a new opportunity here. Do you know of 2 people that you could refer me to where I could have a similar conversation like this, and that I can basically talk to them as well, that you think might be a good fit? People are more likely not to be on the defensive if you're not asking them to give you a job. What you may end up getting is you may get a lead for 2 more people to talk to. And that's okay. The more people you talk to, the better off it is. And of course, you should end that conversation with, hey, I am actively looking. If something does come your way or you do see me, please keep me in mind. And I'll share with you my contact information, my email and phone number. So what do you do then? You've got 2 names. Great. That's fantastic. That's 2 more names that you didn't have before. And the way you deal with that is this. You go and you reach out to those 2 people and you say, hi, person X. I just got done talking with person A, and they suggested that you and I speak. I'd love to get on your calendar to have a brief discussion. I'm actively looking for a new opportunity and understand that you may not have anything for me. But I would like to get your insights on what's going on in the industry and what is happening within your organization. I want to learn more about why is it that you like working where you are. Because part of my job search is to find an opportunity in a place that I love going to work. So I hope this has been helpful. I'm going to have to edit the shit out of this, and that's okay. You've heard Cooper barking in the background. You've heard him chow down in the background. That's okay too. If you go and you take a look at the little QRC code up there, you can book a meeting with me. We can sit, we can have a chat. You can use it as an opportunity to network with me, being that I've got over 4,000 connections and over 4,000 followers. I may know somebody. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you next week. Take care.